Well, in your portfolio as Education Minister, this couldn't have come at a worse time, because you've been looking at trying to find ways to open up our international borders to overseas students again. Has that all been put back on the back burner now, or are we still looking at ways we can get overseas students through quarantine, perhaps vaccinated as a requirement, and back into our universities?
Listen, we want to get international students back into Australia at some stage. They have been a very important export market for Australia, and they've also provided a great pipeline of people who have subsequently become Australian citizens. But we're just not in the position at the moment, Chris, to open up our borders generally, let alone for international students. And we have the quarantine arrangements in place primarily for returning Australians. Now, the Prime Minister has said that if state governments present to us plans for quarantine arrangements for international students which satisfy the criteria which we have laid out, which includes quarantine arrangements above and beyond those for returning Australia, and includes the sign-off from the Chief Medical Officer, then we will take a look at that, and we'll look very carefully at that. I've just received a proposal from James Merlino, the Acting Premier here in Victoria, just 24 hours ago, and we'll take a look at that. But we are just being very cautious. And I think Australians would understand why we're being cautious, because obviously our priority, Chris, is the health and the economic security of Australian citizens, and we don't want to put them at risk. So we're just taking it carefully.
Can I just get a brief answer from you on the next election? Will security be the buzzword? Economic security, border security, COVID security, strategic security?
Chris, the election's still a long way to go, but I can assure you that economic management, economic security, if you want to call it that, and national security, they're always key features of federal election campaigns, and I'm sure they'll be key features of the next federal election campaign.
Indeed.
More than 100 international students could soon pour into Victoria each week under an Australia Open-style quarantine plan. Today's Christina Hearn joins us live from Melbourne. And Christine, what can we expect from the new proposal?
Well, Ali, the proposal would be based on the quarantine system used for the Australian Open, and it would see 120 international students and workers arrive in Melbourne each and every week from May 24. This would be on top of the 1,000 returning residents already coming into Victoria each week. These new international arrivals would be quarantined at a dedicated hotel, and they would pay more than the current $3,000 fee per adult. The new proposal has been sent by Acting Premier James Merlino to the Prime Minister for approval. It comes as The Age reports this morning that the Avalon Airport is no longer the preferred site for a dedicated quarantine facility for the Victorian government. Instead, they are reportedly looking at Cherry Creek in the west, currently